Z. I'm a producer slash DJ from Sydney, Australia. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for my throat. It is 33 degrees here in Sydney and somehow I've caught a cold. I don't know how or why, but yeah, that's why my voice is a bit raspy today. But anyway, I still wanted to make this video. I wanted to kind of experiment with these kind of videos. I want to see what you guys prefer. So just let me know in the comments whether you'd prefer me to make the sample or beat and then provide you an in-depth explanation with commentary at the end, going through each kind of instrument or sound I've used and see how I've kind of created that. Or would you rather me just post an uncut video of me producing a beat as my previous video for that weekend House of Balloon style beat? So yeah, so let me know in the comments. So currently what I want to go through in this video is I want to go through Drake's soul slash R&B type sound. So you heard the sample at the start of the video, so I just wanted to give you an in-depth breakdown on how Drake's producers kind of create that sound. And as you can hear in most of the samples, they're pretty much straightforward. The whole point of that is to give Drake or the artist more room to do their thing. That's why these beats are so simple, atmospheric, and ambient. So first off, I started with this. I got this piano preset from Augmented Piano, Carios. So it sounds like this. It is one of my favorite pianos in the whole VST. And I've kind of laid these chords down. I've gone into a B minor scale and I've just laid these simple chords down and kind of created intervals where I wanted the sound to kind of change, like, you know, so instead of just going up a chord, I put it to progress like this. And then I've basically layered the chords down and then added like a little bit of a top melody at the end just to create that kind of character. So it's not just straight chords, you know. So this is how the sample, this is how the sound sounds without any effects. So yeah, as I said, pretty simple. I'm still learning on how to go about these piano midis. But basically all I've done is just practice makes perfect. I'll like back in the day, and now it comes a bit more natural, but about like a year ago, I used to sit here in front of the piano and make the most simplest chords and it'd take me 2 hours. So it's all about just, just create, the more beats you create, the better you get. And I'm nowhere near as good as I should be. So I'm just grinding it all out. And yeah, this is the piano. And yeah, let's go into the effects. So basically for this piano, all I've added, these are like my top, you don't really see me indulge in any kind of complicated plugins and effects plugins and stuff. All it is just like a simple EQ. I take some of the high end out and some of the low end out. But in this style of producing, you'll see how this EQ doesn't really affect it. It was just kind of so I'll get a grasp of how it sounds. But you'll see when we combine all the sounds, there's a trick that Drake's producer really like to use, where they cut the sample rate at the end with all the tracks consolidated. So this doesn't really do much, but this is kind of, while I'm creating, I kind of see the vision by just EQing the high end. But see, I've EQ'd it like that, and then I've added a bit of retro color. So basically I've just gone on the Who sample preset and just kind of messed around with it and made it my own. So when you add that, it gives it that kind of atmospheric kind of sound. And then just a reverb to make it just sound lighter. And you can see this is the final sound for the piano. So that's just the piano. Okay, so next sound. I'm gonna do in the order I created it. So I just try to add a simple bass line, a simple sub bass, and I think I used sub 2 bass from Maxi's. I think it was his 8th kit, one of Maxi's kits. For me, Maxi is one of the best producers on YouTube. So I'll link him his drum packs in the description. But yeah, I either not the 8th or the 9th. But it's just a simple sub bass. Just kept it real simple. Followed the root notes of the bass, of the piano. Sorry, and all I've done is I've just EQ'd it. Man, it just sounds like this. It just gives it that low end sound that we need. That's it. Simple as. And it just repeats throughout the whole thing. Only thing I've done is, as I said, EQ it, and I've sidechained it to my kick. So I'm gonna go through how to sidechain a little later, or how I say sidechain, at least the simplest method, and it turns out fine. Now with the EQ on, it just cuts out that higher end, and it's just all on the lows. So it's just the bass. That's it. It's just a low end sound. It just feels at the low end. Without this bass, the low end will be completely empty. So that's all the bass is doing. Okay, so let's get into the third sound. For the third sound, all I've done is I've just basically layered that piano with an electric piano from Analog Labs, I think it was from the 90s R&B and Essentials kit, by No Replay. All it is just an electric piano that kind of gives it that extra character, and it's a bit more on the high end. This is how it sounds without the effects. So see, without the effects, it sounds a bit. It doesn't sound the best. At least it doesn't fit this kind of style. So basically, to kind of manipulate into how we want it to sound like, we've had to add quite a bit of effects on that. So basically, I've done an EQ where I've just cut out most of all the high end. Basically, you'll see later why kind of this doesn't matter as much with the EQ effect. But this is how it sounds. So it already sounds a lot better just without the high end. And then I've added some reverb to keep it nice and wide again. So there you go. Already with the reverb and EQ, gives it that nice ambience to it. And it sounds nice and wide. Electric pianos for these kind of beats are probably the best to use. And then all I've done basically is I've just got a delay, and I just use the default preset, mess with the dry and wet, add a higher reverb, echo, and I've kind of messed around with the intensity a little bit. So now with the delay, it kind of gives it this like pad kind of effect rather than just an electric piano. You'll see what I mean. I'll let it play. So that's it for the second sound. Now for the third sound, from memory, all I added was just a pad. It was just a pad from Analog Lab. I think it was the Lush pad, and that is in again the 90s Essentials no replay RNB kit. Honestly, one of the best analog kits out there, especially for me. I like to create kind of vintage kind of sounds, and if you're for the vintage sounds, I highly recommend this kit. I'll plug it in the comment section as well for you to go share love to them. They make really good stuff. They've also got a guitar pack I'm gonna purchase soon. They make very good stuff. So basically, all their pad was just a lush. So lush pad is basically just a nice it was a pad like this without any effects, just a sign, a simple sign pad. And basically for this, I did not copy. I just layered the chords. I did not copy the top line. I felt like with the top line, it didn't sound as nice. So basically, again, simple effects. Don't overcomplicate anything. EQ and reverb. And as I said, the EQ come in later. But I just got rid of the high end, and you've got that. And some of the low end as well, of course, to make room for the bass. And then all I've done is I've added a reverb as well to just widen it again. And look, just gives it that nice wide atmospheric ambient sound. Yeah, so basically these are all the sounds I've used, and then I'm going to go into the vocal sample. And then lastly, all I've done is added like a vocal loop just from Splice, just a simple vocal loop that kind of goes with the chords. Obviously it's in the same key, it's in B minor, but it kind of follows the chord progression to an extent. So you see here when it moves up, it kind of starts here when the actual progression moves up onto the fifth bar. So it fit really well. Usually what I like to do is I like to get the vocals first, chop it up, and then base my chords off the vocal loop. Or like this one, I just happened to find the loop that was perfect for what I created. So there was no need to chop. I basically just stretched it, made sure it was in time, and that's it. And now without effects, it just sounds like this. That's all it was. And then now, once we go into effects, I put a lot more effects on this just to process the vocals and make them sound a lot nicer. So basically, all I did was I EQ'd it. I just used the telephone preset and on Fruity Promatric EQ2, and I just kind of messed around with the high ends. So it kind of sounds like this. It almost sounds like it's through an old payphone. I think the preset's actually called old telephone. And then I just added the chorus. For me, you'll see me. I know in this beat I haven't really used it that much, but chorus, the June 6 chorus is something I use so much. I got it with my Arturia. What's it called? My Arturia Mini Fuse 2. And I haven't looked back at it since. These plugins for me are like crazy because I like to use that kind of vintage synth sound. So then when we add the chorus, it gives it that. I'll just let it speak for itself. then lastly, I've added pre-1993 again, 1973 again. I just used the preset on this, and this is the source for my beats. I always use pre-1973. I like that old kind of distortion, vintage distortion kind of sound. For me, one of my favorite plugins, and it is highly slept on. I've not seen anyone use it. Pre-1973, it's honestly probably one of my top five effects plugins. And I've just used the Ballard female vocal preset. Look, how nice does that sound? Is it that nice distortion? No emojis. And then lastly, all I did was just add a reverb again. Just a reverb, messed around with it, and just made it lighter. So now that I've got all the sounds here, basically what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to get that kind of Drake underwater sound. Once we get that underwater sound, the reason why Drake sounds so good, his beats are so simple and sound so good, is that basically all they do is just cut most of the high end, and that gives so much room for the drums to come in, because most of the drums, your snares, your hi-hats are on that high end, and it just gives Drake so much room to do his thing. The same's kind of like Drake's well known for doing it, but all kind of trap soul artists kind of use this trick. Tilla, P&D, and basically there's a certain trick on how to get it on FL. So basically all you're gonna do is Command C and just consolidate all tracks. I like to cut the remainder so I don't have to muck around with the end. So you cut the remainder, and you're gonna get something like this. See how it sounds good? It sounds okay, but there's just too much going on that high end. So I'm just gonna show you source on how Drake and his team use. So basically, all they essentially do is to get that underwater effect, they just cut the sample rate. So how we do it in FL is we're gonna open it in Edison, so edit audio editor, and you can see the sample rates at 44,100. All we're gonna do is right click that, and just take it down to 2,000. So you heard how it sounded before with all the clips consolidated. There was too much going on. The high end, there was too much. The high end frequencies, everything was clashing. So now all we're gonna do is resample it, and I'll let you hear it for yourself. But it's night and day. How much better does that sound already? And there you go. There's our sample. Basically, all we're gonna do is just get rid of all this, and that's it. That's all there is to it. And then put the bass over it, and this is the final sample you've got with the bass. There you go. It sounds amazing as it is, but all I've added extra, apart from that, is just these two kind of phrases from Prod Lucky's kit and Prod Savant's kit. So basically, I've added just a little accent, a vocal accent, and then just a lead. All I've just done is on both of them is just EQ chorus, The other one I haven't even processed. I think it was fine. I just turned it down a little bit. So these kind of give it a bit of extra character. I would not have these playing throughout the actual beat. These are kind of in little breaks, in little kind of chorus breaks and intros and outros, just to give that beat an extra character. So it's not just the same sample repeating. So this is how they sound on their own. So this is the first sound. And this is the second sound. Yeah, simple. So now when we combine them all together, this is what we have. So yeah, there you have it. There's your final sample. I'm just gonna go ahead and put some drums on it, and then yeah, we've got ourselves a full Drake style beat. So here we go. Here we have it. Basically, I've kind of rearranged it and kind of just added just a couple. Just see, another thing with Drake's style is just simple drums. I've literally only got 3 drum sounds. I got a hi-hat, I got a kick and a snare. I could add a little more, but I'd really like to keep it, especially this beat. I really thought as simple as it gets is perfect. So basically, all I did in pattern 5 was just have this snare pattern. So on every third and 7th beat, and I kind of added a counter snare there, and I kind of just added just a simple, really spaced out kick pattern as well. See, nothing to just up the velocities as well, so the kicks kind of punch through, so you really feel them. But again, just space. All about these beats are space. So yeah, and then I kind of added a hi-hat to come in just around here for about 3 loops, 3 9-bar loops. So just literally all it is, just randomize the velocities and just a two-step hi-hat pattern. That's it. I could add rolls. I could add all these crazy rolls, add third hi-hat patterns, whatever, but that will kind of defeat the purpose. And yeah, here's the beat. Here's the arrangement. Very simple arrangement. First 2.5 9-bar loops, just the snare and kick. Give the artist so much room to do his thing. In this case, Drake. And then pattern 6, just loop 3 times for 9 bars. As I said, 2-step hi-hat pattern. And then yeah, and then just the accents and the phrases, just as a little kind of outro at the end. Otherwise, basically, that's it. And when you look at the drums, simple. This won't be like, this would be like a kind of like a interlude kind of style beat. But yeah, just as I said, very simple in Drake style. As I stated before, I could add rolls, I could add perks, I could add little rims and stuff like that, change up the drums a little bit. But I just thought, for the sake of this video and for the sake of this kind of like tutorial, while we keep the melody simple, we keep the drum simple. And yeah, this will be the end of the video. I'm gonna let the beat play out for the last 3 minutes. And yeah, I like to just say thank you guys for listening and giving me your time. And also in the comments, let me know about what you think about these style of videos. What would you like to see more as I stay consistent? Ideally, I'd like to stay consistent and do about 2 to 3 videos a week, and helping you guys. Because I remember when I started, these videos for me just gave, even to this day, there's no shame in saying videos give me inspiration for some stuff. Like I watch Maxi 2 a lot, and I watch Prod by Jack quite a bit, and they just kind of give me ideas to, and it kind of inspired me to give me ideas for certain styles, certain sample making, and using certain sounds. Like I think Metro came out and said that he still watches YouTube. Not probably the number one trap producer in the world came out and said he gets his inspiration from YouTube. So that's all. That's all I'd like to do is kind of give you guys inspiration and give you kind of show off my beat making skills. And I'm still learning with you guys. And I like to keep it simple and try and explain it and dumb it down as best I can for you guys to kind of at least beginner producers to understand while you get a grasp of this. But yeah, let me know what type of style videos you'd like, whether you like this one or the uncut production sessions. Let me know. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. You can